नमस्कार और स्वागत है आपका बात भारत की के इस बहुत ही खास एपिसोड में। आज हम बात करेंगे श्री सुरेश प्रभु जी से, जिन्होंने भारत के विकास में एक बहुत ही अहम योगदान दिया है। कॉमर्स, एविएशन जैसे बड़े पोर्टफोलियोज को संभालते हुए इन्होंने एक बहुत ही बड़े रिफॉर्म्स को अंजाम तक पहुंचाया। तो चलिए बातचीत शुरू करते हैं श्री सुरेश प्रभु जी से और जानते हैं उनके विचार भारत के डेवलपमेंट, चैलेंजेस और फ्यूचर विजन को लेके। Hello, sir. Thank you for joining me today for this very khas episode of Baat Bharat Ki. You've introduced some of the key reforms in India, like the river interlinking and the Electricity Act 2003. What big changes do you think India needs in the power and water sectors to support growth and while also maintaining sustainability?
See, firstly, we have to accept one reality. Is that reform is not a one-time action.
Absolutely.
It's an ongoing process.
Right.
So when you initiate something, you have a roadmap in front of you. That is what I am going to do at the end of that particular process.
Mm-hmm.
But while you are actually traversing that road, you may come across many different kind of challenges.
Right.
And particularly like country like India, which is so complex and which is so diverse, and which also has so much of different kind of political economy operating at all times.
Right.
You have to keep reviewing it all the time.
Right.
So for me, the Electricity Act was definitely one of the game changer issue for a simple reason, is that you can make it out from how much did the success that it has achieved.
Right.
We had almost 18% peak level shortage. In year 2000, 2001, 18% peak level shortage. So that has now gone into India becoming power surplus for some time. And of course, as I said, you have to keep constantly reviewing it.
Right.
Otherwise you cannot say I've done it and I am now done with it. So it is not like that. So today that's one part. If you look at it, again, we have cleaned the balance sheet of the state electricity boards then. Then we actually trafficated and we created new entities, DISCOM separate and transmission companies separate as well as generation companies separate. Today, the distribution companies are again losing money. And they are losing money and therefore it is adding to the liabilities of the utilities, the DISCOMs, distribution companies.
Right.
So this is a very serious matter again. So we have to constantly remember one thing, that keep reviewing it. Never take your eyes off the ball. As they say in the cricket, if you just say, I hit a six just now, and now I'm relaxing, so then next ball you get out. So it's a very important thing, that keeping your eyes on the ball all the time. In this case, the ball is the goal. What is your goal? What do you want to do?
Right.
You want to make sure that power is given to almost all people in India at a price which is affordable, at a quality. We never bothered about quality of power. That's something which I introduced in the act itself. That quality is equally important. Otherwise, why should you, as a consumer, required to buy something at home to ensure that your equipment, your gadget is not damaged because of fluctuations in frequency? That is nonsense.
Right,
That's
right.
the job of the grid provider. So
Absolutely.
this is what we have to work on. So if you ask me today, each sector needs reform all the time. All the time. It's not one time effort. If you say education, can you say that now education is complete? As you say, education is lifelong process. If it is so, then reform also should be lifelong.
Absolutely.
So this is where we should always keep remembering ourselves that we have to constantly review and then take action where it is required. That's why you have to, each reform you make in each sector will add to the bigger benefits coming to the economy as a whole at the micro level. So we must work on that in sectoral form, and then benefits will always keep accruing to the society as a whole. So a lot of things have to be done constantly.
You know, since you mentioned that everything is interlinked and it is a natural resource, why don't we talk about global warming? You know, like the climate change is the need of the hour. How do you think India can lead in this climate change and, you know, also ensure growth and sustainability?
But it's an extremely important issue. Climate change is not just life-threatening for you and me,
Right.
not just for the human beings. I mean, probably human beings deserve to get that punishment because they have created the climate change to begin with. Because this is human-induced.
Right.
But the nature itself will get completely destroyed. To deal with climate change, many things we need to do. One, people don't talk about is population. Is that how many people on this planet are sustainable?
Right.
What is the carrying capacity of this planet?
Right.
We are more than 7.5 billion people, and just we are proud by saying that we are adding even 1 billion at a faster rate than we added the previous billion. Should be proud of it, because this is the planet which has been planned by whoever planned it or whoever created it. Is not meant to be having so much of disproportionate number of people
Right.
on the planet, whereas other species are dying and only one species is growing,
Right.
and then that species is becoming a predator. See, there always a balance between predator and their what they are going to survive on. Here it looks like one species, like human beings, are consuming disproportionate use of resources on the planet at the expense of rest of them, forgetting the fact that we are there because they are there. The ecosystem is designed in such a way that there is somebody at the apex of the food chain, like in the forest it's a tiger. But we survive because the entire ecosystem functions. Today we are disturbed that ecosystem completely.
Right.
So today the climate change is a serious worry for all of us, but for the entire future of the planet itself. So now, what India could do, India of course has to do more than what it is doing, but we must also accept the reality. And you ask a very pertinent point in that, how do you balance that aspirations of the people, they want to live on something better,
Right.
at the same time to ensure that the entire life is dependent on some invisible force, not invisible really, but we know it, how it works, the nature works. So can we do compatible with nature to sustain economic development in a manner which will not destroy
Right.
the creator itself? So we have a big challenge here. India is doing quite a bit. Thanks to Prime Minister Modi, we are changing our energy mix in a big way. And that's something which is, I consider it as one of his biggest achievement, to actually shape the thinking of the world to change the energy mix. So he actually is in a way, creator of that solar alliance, global solar alliance. I've seen it when he was Chief Minister of Gujarat, how he was talking about it, and he had told me also. I'm a founder of a think tank called CEW.
Yes.
So at that time we were actually championing that when he was the Chief Minister, because the central government didn't accept that idea.
Right.
He actually implemented it by doing that. In the process, he is helping to change the energy mix, which in turn will help the climate change.
Right.
So we are actually doing enough. The world has to do more.
Right.
And we also have to do more. I'm not saying you do more and I will not do anything. I'm not saying that.
No, I think everybody has a role to play in that.
And a big role. And I think now we are just, there are 2-3 angles to climate change. One is the science, which has proved beyond doubt
Right.
that this climate change is as a result of human action. Then there are others, politics of climate change, where you want to do only blame game.
Right.
You against me. Tu main, that you don't have to watch on a TV serial. It is happening in the politics also.
Right.
So that's global politics of climate change. Third is what people are experiencing it. You go to any part of the world, whether it's a farmer, a fisherman, or somebody working in the tourism industry, a woman or a young boy, he will always say, I am suffering.
Right.
He may not say, this is because of this climate change. He may not have heard the name climate change. But he's saying that my life has changed or worse because of something. And
Right.
that's climate change. So people also experiencing it. So we have to do more.
Delhi chokes every winter. Like before winter starts seeping in, there's pollution, there's smog everywhere. Do you think we see a solution to this any time in the coming years? Because it's been a continual activity since the past couple of years.
No, this is a most serious issue. If you cannot control pollution of Delhi, it's actually really reflects very badly on all of us. So we have to work in many ways. One is we have to find out a source of pollution,
Right.
which actually deteriorates the air quality. One big contributor is transportation. So despite having metros in Delhi, which were not there when I was Minister of Environment in 1998, quality of air had deteriorated.
Right.
So we always thought at that time public transport is a solution. Then we thought fuel that goes into the vehicle is a problem. So we actually reduced the sulfur content when I was Environment Minister, way back in 1925 years ago. All these measures are not. So now we have to work on very drastic measures, first on transportation. So right from fuel to the used type of car that will ply on the road, etc., we have to take on that one.
Right.
That's a source of pollution. Second is construction. Now we have to find out, you cannot live without construction.
Right.
But we must now come out with a new regulation to
Absolutely.
ensure that when you are constructing something, the particulate matters which goes into the air are properly arrested, controlled.
Right.
Third, which we talk about, which is not, it is part of it, but not a whole, reason why Delhi air pollution is so bad, is the burning of stubble across
Right.
border, like
Right.
Delhi, Punjab, Haryana, even part of rural Delhi, Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Western UP, etc., that comes into Delhi through air. If you go to Pakistan, they'll say it comes from India. If you go to, we say it comes partly from Lahore. So it's all air is one.
Right.
It doesn't require
Does not
passport,
have
visa.
any boundaries.
So neighboring states, it can be neighboring countries, whatever.
Yes.
Now there's a solution. Why do farmers burn stubble? There are many reasons. One is of course for enriching the soil.
Right.
Secondly, they feel that cutting it and taking it to the
It's
costs
time
more money.
consuming, cost effective.
Stubble happens after the crop is harvested.
Right.
In all these states I mentioned where this is supposed to come from there, they have a public procurement system. There is a minimum support price which given to the farmer, which in turn results into farmers selling it to an agency of the government for procurement. Cannot do the same thing and say I will support a minimum support price for a stubble. There is a supply chain and you are dealt with supply chain.
That's
So
right.
already a supply chain in place.
Right.
That's how you actually sell the crop.
Absolutely. No, I agree. I think that supply chain is missing.
Then still the question will remain sometimes how to cut it, etc. You must buy machines. So help farmer to cut it off
Right.
and get it out. So this is still not as costly as the cost of pollution
Right,
that
of course.
citizens have to suffer. And lastly, if you do this, what do you do with that stubble that government will buy? It's a question, right? What will you do because you need warehousing? You give it to those companies who are interested to do biomass for your either power generation or for something else.
Right.
So I think the solutions are there.
We're just, we know the solutions, but there's nobody to enforce those solutions.
Yeah.
But definitely maybe in the coming years, we are all hoping something good will happen to the neighboring states and to Delhi. तो ये थी हमारी आज की बातचीत श्री सुरेश प्रभु जी के साथ. Stay tuned for part 2 of this conversation.